everyone. It is episode 434 of This Is Whole Life, and it's a little bit different this week. This is going to be the Cliff Notes version of the podcast. And because it is the Cliff Notes, let me explain. No. This morning, we decided that Melanie was going to start things off and kind of let everybody know what's happening, what was going on this week, and why it might be a little bit shorter than normal. Melanie, go.
We decided this.
Yeah,
we did.
All right.
Did you hear
I heard it.
I thought
unanimous.
So too. Yeah.
Lucas, you heard it too, right?
Yeah.
So witness of two or three.
Okay. Well, then I will begin. No, we had Connected this weekend, and it was
Yay.
awesome.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So tell everyone what Connected is.
So Connected is the day of the year when we close down the building and we go be the church in the community. So it was a day of service.
We did close it down.
We closed it down.
There was nobody. Well, there was a few people.
Well,
there.
actually, that's not true. We had our adventure club.
That's true.
That was here in the
Yes.
building, and they did amazing stuff. But they were here to do some service projects in the building.
Do we have some plumbers in the house?
Right now?
I feel like
we did have some plumbers in the house
all
as well.
week. That was
and
kind of an
some
all-week thing.
County officials.
I think that's a different story.
I think we're not going to talk about that today because that was a real downer comparatively to Connected. Oh, well, this week we're going to talk a little bit about Connected, of course, but also on a very, very unusual. Well, once a year where, and I don't know, we didn't do this last year, did we, the 7 p.m.?
No.
I'm trying to think. This was new for this year.
Yeah, this is the first time in my tenure here that we've done a 7 o'clock. I believe before I was here, they would have a Sabbath of service, and they would do service projects in the morning, and then at the noon they would have a noon service.
Yeah, I remember that. That was Meet, Worship, Serve, MWS, if I remember correctly. And we would go out in the morning and then hit noon as the service. But this was 7 o'clock, which I don't know. I'm still an evening church vibe kind of person. So if I had my choice, I'd be like, hey, can I get like first service at 7 p.m.? Would that be cool for everyone? And then I go, oh, wait a minute, you work here, fool. No, you don't want that. I got to be here all day. No, I don't want that. But
yeah, it was fun.
It was fun.
We could add a third service in.
I love it.
The third service idea, or you loved the 7 p.m.?
The 7 p.m.
Thank you. I was like, wait a minute, Lucas, wait a minute. So during that time, it was pretty cool, and you can go and catch it in the archives, wholelife.church. It's right on the front page, where we did some music and we had a short message by Ken, and then we also put out the kind of the little slideshow with all the stuff that happened that day.
Awesome job, communication team.
Awesome job.
That looked really good.
That was
good job, guys.
Right down to the wire, though. Not gonna lie. Gonna lie.
For a short moment, we thought we were not going to be able to pull it off, but
I haven't seen Lucas sweat since he's been here yet, and his teeth were chattering a little bit even while that, like, bro, I don't know if we're going to make the deadline on this one.
Probably didn't help to have the worship pastor popping her head in every 20 minutes.
It was just like when you ask people for pictures, and even at 5 o'clock when you have to have made your decisions, and it's like, oh, here's another 250. Good luck going through those and what you might have time to look at or maybe actually put into the program. But all that to say was at the very end of the service, also we opened up a chance on the microphones for people to share some really cool stories. And I was like, when Ken, I didn't realize that. I don't know how I missed it somehow, but you guys went out door to door before this event.
Friday evening.
Yeah,
that was
as I'm walking. There was a big crew of people that actually went over and helped set up over in Paramore. At the and by the way, Intersect is a Interstruct. I'm sorry. Thank you, Interstruct. Thank you for. Great organization that allows their building, their property to be used to be of service. Very cool. I love what they do by giving back to their community. And they partner up with Desire Foundation. And so we had a group that went over to that property to get everything set up. And so several of us on staff were over there to help as well. And as I'm walking up, Anderline says, "Hey, you want to go out with these 3 people and hand out flyers door to door?"
He was so excited.
And
I bet.
she's like, I was like, didn't sound like a "do I want?" It sounded more like a "here you go." So
Melanie, you were part of it too?
Melanie did, and we had 2 other people that
we had Desiree and Charlene.
Yeah,
we were a group. But I have to tell on Ken, though. This is hilarious. He comes out to go door to door in Paramore, and he's wearing khakis and a black polo. Dude, stop knocking on doors. You look like a cop. Nobody's going to answer.
I will say that I did get a few looks. Particular. Anyway, probably a good place not to
overshare.
But I may or may not have walked into where some illegal things may or may not have been taking place. Yeah. And I did get a look.
We're happy that you're still here. That's the high point.
I just God has His time and His place. So that wasn't it, I guess. Anyway, man. But it was good. It was. You know what is. I feel like in my earlier years I got all my going to door to door, handing out brochures, in gathering, selling books, and so when Anderline asked me to do it, it was not like I'm going to do what I'm told and be a good follower. Since it's Anderline's event, but I was not overly enthusiastic.
But I'll tell you, it's way different though when you're knocking on doors asking for something versus knocking on doors telling people, "Hey, we've got 10,000 pounds of groceries that are going to be given out tomorrow morning." If you want to come out, if you know somebody who might want to come out, it's the reception is a little different.
Not when you're dressed like a police officer.
This is true.
Well, and I heard at I believe it was Jennifer. I'm trying to think of for sure. She's the leader of the Desire Foundation. When I interviewed her afterwards briefly for a little video, I believe she said there was 15,000 pounds of food, that the extra trucks were extra food, and there wasn't a ton to put in the truck that was left over that they'll use.
There really wasn't. It went.
It was pretty much
I think one of my favorite things was as Randy, Lucas, and myself, we stayed at that site for a fair amount of time, but then we drove out to some of the other places that Whole Life was serving. And as we were driving out, there was several ladies with grocery carts, just looking like they had won the lottery, pushing the grocery carts towards their homes, and it felt good to see
big smiles on their faces.
The big smiles and all
fresh
that,
produce.
Yeah.
And it was good stuff. I feel like sometimes the food pantries, people donate cans of beets and that kind of thing, which I would be thrilled about, but most people wouldn't. But this is,
I'll trade it for something.
I mean, there watermelon and just all these
fresh produce.
The produce looked great. It was really good.
The onions,
really
I just wanted to make some burgers with those onions, like get them all diced up and saute them, and they looked so good.
Yeah, there was. It was quality food, and that was one of the really neat things this year was that we were. This is really our third year of this kind of thing. In the first year, we were at that time it was Exploria Stadium, and now it is.
Oh, it's not Exploria anymore.
It's the
Campus World.
Camping World is the other.
No, it wasn't Camping World. It was. Anyway, it's where the Orlando Pride and where Orlando City plays, and we were there that year. And then last year we were with Four Roots, which was fantastic as well. But what was kind of cool about this year is that because Interstruct doesn't charge us to use the property, we were able to put the money that we had to put to renting the facility, the stadium. We were able to put that money into buying more groceries and more things like that, and so it was really neat. It was really neat. So, and Desire Foundation is just great to work with. They did a fantastic job of organizing it, putting it together. and just great partners that we've been working with now for over, I think, a year and a half or so, that we've been partnering up with them on a bunch of different projects. And the cool thing about it for me is that this is kind of a major event, but they go out every month and do this on a slightly smaller scale. And so it's one of those cool things that if you really enjoyed it, it's one of those, you can get involved and you can do it every month. And it's not just that. I think they have other projects in other places. So if you're wanting to be involved, and that's one of the things I really like about this particular thing, this Connected that we do, is it's connecting with our community, but it's also connecting our church members with great organizations that do really good things in our community. And so, whether that's Desire Foundation, that's fantastic, that we've been working with. And by the way, congratulations to them for winning the Golden Brick. I think we've talked about this before, but one of the major awards in Orlando for nonprofit organizations, they received that this last year. So they're fantastic. And then there's Four Roots, another great, fantastic organization. We again partnered with them, and our Pathfinders and some other folks went to two of the gardens that help supply fresh produce to them, and did a lot of weeding. And if you didn't get a chance to see the before and after picture, that was really amazing. There was literally a gasp in the worship center when people saw what they were able to do. So good for all the people that went out and did that. And we love Four Roots. They're a fantastic nonprofit as well. And then Second Harvest that we went to. And I think the thing that just always impresses me so much about they have it down. They know what they are doing, and the people that were there were really able to get a lot accomplished. I think 21,000 meals that they were able to pack, enough food for 21,000 meals to go out, and it really kind of hits you hard when you realize that 21,000 meals, that food is going to go very quickly. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's like, oh, we'll put this back in the storehouse and over the next 6 months it's going to get used. It's this. There are that many people who need food and who are hungry. And to be able to be a part of, just a small part of the good work that Second Harvest is doing and all these other organizations, I just love that it connects our church members with great organizations that are doing great things here in our community. And it's just a little bit of an inspiration to say, hey, what is it that makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like you're contributing? And how can you, more than just this particular Sabbath in the year, where can you get involved on a regular basis? And I'll tell you, it really inspired me. I was, we're going to actually talk about this in staff meeting today, but so not to put any pressure on our staff, but I was, who was it? I was at the Samaritan Resource Center had their annual banquet, or actually brunch, I think, here at our church, and we were happy to be able to host them here. And there was one of our elected representatives in the Florida, I believe, House, was there speaking. And she said that her office once a month goes and volunteers somewhere in their community. And I thought, man, that'd be cool. If an elected official is doing this, as a staff, that's a really cool thing. So we're going to talk about, as a staff, once a month, finding a place to go volunteer. And I think we'll probably cancel staff meeting on that particular week and go serve.
We're all so disappointed.
Everybody will be so sad. Yeah, see, I thought I could finesse this into something that
sounds
would
awesome.
But I thought that was just. But again, it's being inspired and because when she shared that, I thought, oh, that's something we could do. Why haven't I thought about doing that? That's a really good idea. And the same thing I hope happens as we do these connected Sabbaths, that it just, people go, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know I really enjoyed doing this. And I can go down to Second Harvest and volunteer once a month or once a week or every other month, whatever. I can go do that for 2 hours, and I know that when I show up, they'll know what I'm supposed to do, and I'll feel like I really accomplished something. Or maybe it's the Desire Foundation. You think, oh, I just really enjoy sitting and talking to people who are coming in and sitting down and having a meal with them and having a conversation and just sharing life with a group of people maybe that I wouldn't spend as much time with otherwise. So anyway.
Or the farm. I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't have your own garden, that's a good. My girls they really enjoyed going out and helping weed and organize and put stuff together. And when you said about the need, it was and I've been there before, so it wasn't my first time at Second Harvest Food Bank. But as Lucas was recording the lady that was leading out from Second Harvest, leading our team, and saying like, hey, you guys packed 21,000 meals. And this is going to go, the bulk of it's going to Orange County, and then there's going to be some, I think she said, to Seminole County, whatever. Like, it's going to get picked up, I think, the very next day. She said, if you guys want to come back, please do. We need help every single day. Like, they do what we watched happening Saturday morning is just another day at the office for Second Harvest and for the need that's in our community.
I think they have volunteer hours Tuesday through Saturday is what she said.
Yeah.
I think they're closed on Sunday and Monday, but
I think that's
Tuesday
right.
through Saturday they have those volunteer opportunities. So, if you're looking for something. And I also want to jump in and say, I thought it was so cool. I got a text message and a picture from a group of church members who are on vacation in Turkey. And they spent Saturday morning picking up trash in the area that they were living in. They just walked through and
cool.
did trash pickup where they were at so that they could be a part of what Whole Life was doing on this last Sabbath. And I don't know, did we receive very many pictures from other people in other places? Or
I think from other places, no.
I don't remember there being from other places.
But we received over 500 pictures in total. So
I sent you about 100 of those. So
I don't know. Besides yours,
Yeah.
besides
just
what
what everybody else sent.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
No, there's there's pictures, and then there's more pictures, and more pictures.
And I would just say this: if you're listening to this and you were in a different place, you're Washington State, Nebraska, North Dakota, North Carolina, wherever you were at, and you did something, please send a picture in. It makes us feel like, oh, that's awesome. You were a part of what Whole Life was doing. You can just send that to lucas@wholelife.church.
Absolutely. I think the biggest group that maybe impressed me the most throughout the day was the adventures.
Oh, yeah.
Packing 300 hygiene kits. Now, organizing something like that
And writing notes to put in each one.
and then
cards.
adding these little notes of encouragement. So kudos to Bernie and his team and the parents and everyone else that helped.
And I
that
think
was
also
crazy.
that we shouldn't leave out that I think on Friday night they actually built planners.
Oh, that's right.
For the Whole Life Center.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, they had a full
weekend.
They didn't just do Sabbath morning; it was Friday night as well.
And they had the pictures to prove it. Of course, Melinda having Melinda.
Yeah,
on
having
your
Melinda
team,
is somewhat of
it's a
an
plus.
advantage there. Good for you, Melinda.
But I'm just like, man, these kids are way too cute. Way, 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 way too cute. So when we get to the message part of it, and this is part of the challenge that maybe just really wrapped it all together in a way that let you leave with, hey, we did something cool today. Let's do something cool again sooner than later. And Leviticus 19 verses 9 to 10, leaving the margins.
Yeah.
One that you don't, if you're reading through Leviticus, my suggestion is read one of those plans where it's like a Bible in 365 days, but it's like, oh, we have 3 from Leviticus today, 10 from Psalms, and in that way, because if you all the way through Leviticus, start to finish, you're like, whoa, I don't know if I'll make it, and you might miss a gem.
I really
something
actually
like
like Leviticus. I think it's a fun one. Oh, I really do. It's like I'll take that anytime over Numbers.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Numbers. Yeah. I'm with that too because Numbers is rough. That's just get the coffee out, put the toothpicks in, and let's.
I mean, Numbers has some cool stuff in it too. I don't want to, but I like Leviticus. I think the little weird rules. I just always enjoy trying to figure out what the purpose was there.
Oh, the weird rules.
Yeah.
All right. One weird rule we have, and what's its purpose?
Oh, one.
Well, for us,
just one from there.
from anywhere. From maybe do we have any weird rules at Whole Life?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, give me one.
I don't know what it is, but I know we do.
I'm sure we do. Melanie, do you know of any that we have?
Trying to think of some.
When you put me on the spot like that, I just know. I just feel certain that if somebody, what would be a
Yeah. I mean,
I think something that some people might find a little bit unusual is that as a church, we involve people pretty much the moment they walk in the door in getting them involved. We don't wait for people to, have been here for 5 years and passed all kinds of,
Yeah, and everybody participates. Yeah, I was trying to think of a bad weird rule, but no, we have good.
And
weird
I don't know if it's a weird rule, but one of the things that we also ask is that when people are up front, that they don't have logos and things that are promoting different political things. And
that's true. It's kind of I don't know if I think it's a good rule. I don't know if that's a weird one, but it might be weird for some. Some other places I've seen that. And then, we talked about Desire Foundation and Paramore, and the margins really, when the Leviticus is talking about, the edge of your wheat crop, and it's talking about your vineyard and, what you should be leaving behind for the poor. And it almost makes you feel bad that we have to leave behind, like the goal is to leave your excess or your leftovers. I guess excess sounds better than leftovers to me, but leftovers was a word that kept coming into my mind when you were talking about it, and the challenge to, we all have time, talent, and treasure. Probably not many of us have wheat or grapes to leave, but it made me stop to think of what in each of those categories do I have to give, and am I doing it? Yeah. And the part that my family has always loved is connected. Like, let's go do something for someone. Probably because it's been more of, well, if we bought them something, they'd be like, "What are you giving us this piece of junk for? This isn't worth anything." Because that wasn't the thing that we could do well. But finding your niche in going and giving and helping. And the nice part now, like you said, Ken, is there are, like, who doesn't want to go hang out with the Desire Foundation? They've got a great team. Or who doesn't want to go to Second Harvest? Because I'm just telling you guys, after sitting outside, even in grabbing a little shade in the tent down in Paramore every so often, getting inside with the giant industrial fans
felt pretty good.
At Second Harvest didn't feel too bad. So it's not AC out in that area, but they do have fans, and they had some pretty sick tunes pumping through the stereo to keep you hyped up, keep you moving, keep you active. And it was, saw Kyla there, and, grab a group of friends and go hang out.
Yeah, all of our collegiate young adults went over there. We had about 40 plus that were over there. Great group.
And that was a big picture. There had to be 40 there. Yeah.
And so, I think there were a few people that actually managed to scoot out before they got into the picture. So
yeah, I think you did see a few sneak out. Well, and even the farms, a lot of people, we talked last week about how we most of us don't have gardens, and if we do, we don't have gardens large enough to sustain us as a family of whatever size we might be. Well, there you go. Hang out with, the farms that everyone spent time at this week. In Florida, planting time is now, and fall is planting time. And so for most things, I just know enough from watching my wife's garden and doing the testing. I bet we could grow that. It doesn't matter. It's like, ooh, should have listened to him. Can't grow that in the summer. There's reasons why. But like how much summer takes over at the farm, and like they did all the heavy lifting of a lot of it, because you can't keep up with the weeds, you can't keep up with all the invasiveness of everything else that comes through. So those might be some good places to go hang out and learn how to maybe put your own garden together.
Yeah,
and then make the bounty in your neighborhood.
I had my next door neighbor, super nice guy, Jason. Thank you so much for bringing over your garden stuff. He brought a big old bag of stuff that he grown.
I thought he mowed your grass. You looked really excited there for a moment.
Well, we have a nice little arrangement. We have this little strip of ground that's in between the two houses that's probably half his, half mine. And when I first got here, I wasn't really sure. Some people are a little picky about
how it gets mowed,
what happens, and And so we've gotten to the point now that, whoever's out there first mows the whole strip there. And
Nice.
so,
Awesome.
yeah, he's a great neighbor. He's a good neighbor.
And he brought the bounty?
Yeah, he brought stuff over from his garden and gave us some produce. So yeah.
What was your favorite?
Well, I'm a big fan of the avocados he brings over. Those are pretty great.
Come on. He's got an avocado tree?
He does. Yeah. Sometimes when it's not trimmed back completely, sometimes it overhangs my yard, and I have a little extra value.
and there's overflow.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of the cool thing, though, is that if you do have a garden, if you've ever had it, you know that usually there's more that comes out of there than your family's able to actually eat in time, and that is, I think, one of the joys is be able to share it with people around you.
Yeah, for us, it's usually the tomatoes. Even though we love tomatoes and we eat, especially when they're ripe, it's like, okay, what are we eating? When they start
coming on, though, it's like
you can't keep up. You got to give some away. Well, I hope that this week, if you didn't watch it was a shortened worship service.
It actually went the full.
But it went longer because of the interactions, and I would challenge you to go check those out. There was some really heartfelt interactions that happened, and maybe I think it was Anderline and Joe and his family, where people recognized us from 2 years ago.
Yep.
From at that time, Exploria, like Ken mentioned, and now back being down there because Interstruct is about 2 blocks from Exploria, so the same community in Paramore was served in both occasions, and for people to remember. You 2 years ago from an interaction that maybe lasted 15 minutes to an hour or whatever. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Well, it tells you something. It tells you that it was pretty meaningful.
Yeah. So that part really, I think, left an impression that what happened was just so appreciated, so needed, and really did leave a mark. And just thinking about the margins and where you can be involved. And the other part is if you're looking for something, and none of the things we did this weekend are something that maybe strikes the hot button for you, talk to Anderline. Anderline at wholelife.church. She's got a ton of things and places because she's connected so deep in our community that there's something that she can help you find if that's something that you're like, okay, I'm gonna answer the bell on this.
I think I've said before, one of my favorite ways of volunteering is through literacy projects. I love doing that sort of like reading with kids, and that I really enjoy that sort of thing. And so there's lots of different options out there. But yeah, Anderline's a great one to connect you with what's out there. And next year,
that's right.
Anderline is already even before this one was done, she was planning next year's, and we've already been connecting with a couple different partners. And our theme for 2025 is overflow, and so she's calling it Go Connect Global Overflow. Because next year we're actually going to talk about, with overflow, what happens when you're doing so much in your community that you actually have excess and you can actually go out into the rest of the world, go into other countries and be of support in different places. And so I know next year she's got some plans to partner with some of our well, I shouldn't say, but to highlight some of the partners that we already have. One would be World Vision. We're going to be working with them to do some projects, and then there's another really cool group that you pack meals that are able to be shipped over to places where they're experiencing famine. And they're complete meals. They have the vitamins, protein, all of it's packed into these
dry goods.
Yeah, dry goods, and it's really cool to do it. You pack these meals, and you can pack several thousand in a couple hours, depending on the number of people that you have, and it's a really cool project. So that's another one that I think we're looking at. We're partnering. We've already been talking to Adventist Disaster Relief Agency, and I might have not gotten that acronym quite right. It's ADRA.
ADRA.
I think you're right.
And we're working with them on a really cool project. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but there's some really cool things that are happening there. So all of this is, by the way, just written in pencil at this point. So, I'm not trying to box Anderline in, but we've already been talking with these different people that we've already been partnering with on other things to kind of highlight there's helping in your local community, and then there's thinking globally as well. And we want our church to be able to do both and to think, there's the local help and then there's the global way. And we are not just a part of our own local community, but we are a part of the world community.
Yeah. Man, that's cool. I can't wait for next year, although I was pretty tired Saturday night. I was like, I'm ready to go.
You don't want to think about next year?
No. I just want to go home.
It was a long weekend.
It was a long weekend, but it was really, really good. Oh, and one thing that we didn't talk about, the connected music video debuted on Saturday night, so it was a little extra something.
Is that up on YouTube now, or is it out there?
It will be.
Okay, then.
I had thought about it. I was like, maybe I'll work on that. And I was like, no, nothing got worked on until really.
Well, maybe by the time you hear this, then maybe in the show notes, there'll be a link to the YouTube
it won't take long. We've got all the edited versions ready to go and to get uploaded. But it got debuted Saturday night. So, you never know. 7 p.m. worship service, you're thinking, why would I, it's not the holy hour, or it's not my usual time. Maybe I won't watch. You missed it, but you'll still get it anyway because we're not going to make you.
The other thing that we probably ought to mention is the great question that will be coming up this next week. So.
Well, considering that we started today's episode with Melanie, why don't you take it away and wrap it up?
Oh, with the question.
Yeah.
All right. So there are a lot of Christian denominations, and we all read from the same Bible. So how does that happen? A lot of people are seeking truth. They're asking God for truth. They go to the Bible, and they all end up in different places. Is God leading people to different places?
Wow, this one feels like there's a lot of possible landmines.
I'm sure I won't get in trouble at all.
Oh, my goodness. Have you... Did you start looking at it already? Yeah?
Yep.
Know where you're going? Do you have an idea?
I have a pretty good idea where I'm headed.
Oh,
already?
Man, on a Tuesday, and this is weird. It's like 11 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., so good work.
Somebody worked on his day off.
I think so.
Somebody did not. Somebody worked on Sunday, but not on his day off.
Okay.
I kept my Sabbath.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Big shout out to all of you listening and those of you that tuned in Saturday night, even though you were not a physical part of that day, you were definitely part of that day. And your encouragement in the chat, as always, was well received, and we appreciate all that, and we appreciate everyone that just came out, showed up big, and a big impact in our community. And now, if we can just find those pieces and parts and places that we can continue that throughout the year, I think it'll be an even greater success. So, man, I can't wait for next week. Now, man, I had kind of forgotten about the question when it was like, hey, we should say the question. Yeah, we should say the question. Man, I think it's going to be a good episode next week.
It'll be fun.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys, and have a great week.